So I want to welcome all the attendees to the Arts Council's workshop today on grants administration for the Community Arts Impact Grant. First of all, congratulations to all of you that received a Community Arts Impact Grant for fiscal year 2024. Whether you are a first-time grantee for this grant or have done it before, I think you will find the information we're sharing with you about how to manage your grant, how to apply for reimbursements to be very, very important. So thank you for attending. So I am the Division Director of the Arts Council. We have two other staff members here today. Kathy Collins, who is your program manager and will be your first line of contact for your grant. And also Eileen Blake, who is our contract manager. And remember, you signed the agreement, the contract agreement for this grant, and much of this is covered in that agreement. Kathy is going to take the lead on this. She's done a PowerPoint presentation. If we could, we would like to save your questions till the end. So if you have a question about something specific as we're going along, jot it down. And at the end, we will ask you to raise your hand if you have a question, and we will try and answer all questions that you have. So without further ado, Kathy, if you will begin your PowerPoint presentation, that would be great.
All right. Thank you, Martine. Good afternoon, everyone. As Martine stated, this workshop is for the recipients of the Community Arts Impact Grant for 2024. And what we're going to do today is go over the processes that you need for submitting your reimbursement requests and recognizing the county and submitting a final report. I want you to keep in mind that all the things that we talk about, all the steps are necessary for you to follow in order for you to stay in compliance and to not risk forfeiting any grant funds or becoming ineligible for any future grants from the county. I also want you to know that I'm here to help, and no question is trivial, no question can be asked too many times, and I'm more than happy to go over the steps with you. I want to point out that while I am your point person and I process the payments that come through to us for the reimbursements, I'm not the only person that reviews this stuff. There are a layer of county representatives who will look at this to process it for payment. So when I tell you that you need to provide us with certain documentation to back up your reimbursement request, it is because someone else may have a checklist and they are looking for specific information to guarantee that what you say you did do, and someone was actually paid for it. So the first thing would be everyone was provided with a copy of the fully executed grant agreement recently. I want you to understand something, that the grant agreement incorporates by reference your grant application, the narrative, and the budget. You are bound by what you asked for in the grant with respect to reimbursements. Because this is reimbursement based, you have to show that you paid for this, for what you're asking for. So that's going to entail not only just saying, oh, I paid an instructor. That's going to mean you have to provide us with certain documentation to actually show that you did what you say you did. Now, your grant period is from November 1, 2023 to August 15, 2024. You cannot ask for any expenses to be reimbursed outside of that time frame. You also need to make sure that you have written in your calendar somewhere August 15, 2024. That is the absolute deadline for requesting that anything be reimbursed under this grant. If you submit it on the 16th, it most likely will not get processed and it will not get paid. Now, on this particular grant, you can ask for up to 5 reimbursement requests. However, if you have a project where you're going to have all of your expenses are going to take place like at one time, you can submit 1. You also don't have to wait. Submit your reimbursement requests as soon as they become available. So for example, if your project started and you've already been working on it since November 1, you can begin, you have all the documents you need, you can begin to submit your reimbursement requests. Now, when you filled out your application, you used the Neighborly Grant Portal. We are going to be using this system for the reimbursement requests and the final report, which will be due on August 31, 2024. You're going to use your email and the password that you created for your grant. So if someone else, for example, within your organization is going to be doing the reimbursements, they need to know what information was used to set up the account when you submitted your application. The report or the request for reimbursement is found in the report section. Once you log into Neighborly and you get back to your grant application, you'll see to the left there is a section called reports. You click on that and then it brings up two separate reports. For the reimbursement, you want the report called reimbursement payment. And you click on that and you start a new report, and then it'll bring up this CAIG invoice detail worksheet. So this worksheet is pretty simple. It simply asks you to fill in information about your organization, your contact, and then you'll see where it says, please provide invoice details. This is where you're going to put information in. For example, if you have if you have something where you have a teacher, you're going to put like a check, you're going to put the information in saying who the individual is, what they were paid, and how they were paid. Well, I like to think of these reimbursements as telling a story. Think who, what, when, and where. If you remember all of those things and you tell us that information, then you're going to be fine with respect to giving us what we need. Now, in addition to that reimbursement document, there's also going to be a section where it asks you to upload certain information. So as I was saying, for example, with respect to an instructor, let's say you have a program where an instructor teaches a class. The best thing to do with respect to that is to make sure that your instructors use timesheets. The timesheet should say where they taught, when they taught, the hours they taught, the rate of pay. Then you're going to also need to make sure that you provide copies of canceled checks, bank statements, Cash App receipts, anything along these lines that will show that you paid the expense and that to whom the expense was paid and that it actually was cashed. Because it's reimbursement based, you have to show that you spent the money in order to get the money. The same goes for things like supplies or mileage. You can't just tell me, oh, I bought, 10 notebooks and some paint. I need a receipt. I need to see exactly what you got, and I need to show how it was paid, when it was paid, and to whom it was paid. So again, tell us the story of the project. Tell us of what you've been doing for however many weeks, or if it's one time, just tell us, think of it that way. It's better also if you think of it in terms of, it's better to provide me more information than not enough information. We've had situations where people have given us, just like, say, for example, a canceled check that maybe it has, like in the memo, it says something, but that's not enough. You have to show me how you got to that amount and who it is that you are paying. Now, in addition to getting your reimbursements, you need to make sure that you are using this particular logo on your website and on any promotional information. If you have an old logo from, like, say, the Arts Council from a long time ago, you need to remove that and you need to use this particular one. Some time ago, I went through everyone's website and I looked to see who had the correct logo. And if you did not have the logo, or if you're a new grantee, I sent your information to the communications department and they should have sent you this logo. If, however, you do not have this, please let me know so that we can get it for you. You also can, if you cannot use the logo for some reason, you can use the text with the support of Hillsborough County Board of County Commissioners. What I'm trying to get expressed to you as best I can is we have to show as often and as loudly as you can, thanks to the Hillsborough County Commissioners, that you've received this grant. As you know, we are in a certain climate with the arts being scrutinized, and they want to see a return on investment with respect to their grants. So thanking them by using the logo and this particular language is just one part of showing them a return on investment for the arts. The other way is by promoting your organization. Now, the Arts Council has a website, and within our website, we have an events calendar. And on that is a place where you can log in and you can put events or exhibits or shows or something that you have that you're going to be doing so that we know that you're doing it. You also can tell us if, for example, it's something that you don't want, like maybe the general public to come to, but you're celebrating a group or a class that did something. Let us know so that we can plan on being there, or we can get communications to come and do a video of your organization so that we can help promote you. But in any event, you need to make sure that in some way we are told what you're doing throughout your grant period. Now, the other thing that you need to do, let me back up a second. We also send out a monthly newsletter, and the newsletter goes out the first of each month. So if you think in terms of if you have something going on in February, make sure that by the 15th of January, you have the information to us so that Eileen can put the information in the newsletter. We want to advertise what you're doing. We want to advertise the good works that you're doing in the community, and we can't do it if we don't know about it. So I apologize for backing up on that for a second, but now I are going to talk a little bit about the final report. If any of you were recipients last year, we did not require a final report. However, this year we are going to require one, and that is also found in Neighborly in the reports section. This one is due by August 31st. And again, what we want you to do is tell us the story of what you did with the grant funds you were given by the county. Now, as a prior grantee, I know that you fill out applications and sometimes you think to yourself, why in the world are you asking me this question? I really thought about what we were asking for in the final report. This is not only going to help us to be able to prove the return on investment for the money that you received, but it's also going to help us publicize you and help you get the good works out that you're doing. Now, one of the things I would strongly suggest you do is look at the final report now. Look at what we're asking for. For example, we are asking you to give us 1 to 2 quotes or testimonials. Get those now. Don't wait for them until the end. There, you may get like the best quote in the world, and it may be given to you in January or February, and that's great. But we want to know, were people happy to participate? Who participated? Who benefited from your project? Were there veterans that were involved? Were there disabled people? Were there, was it, geared toward mental health? Were there children who were underserved in some way? Give us a clear picture of what you did during your grant period. And do that now so that you won't forget and you won't be scrambling in August to try to find somebody that attended your project or your program. And then finally, just let me know if you have any questions at any time. I do not think any answer is a small answer or question, and I am more than happy to answer as many times as you need or to go through steps as many times as you need. I do want you to keep in mind, though, if you submit something to me and it's not sufficient, I am going to come back to you and I'm going to say you have to provide me with X, Y, and Z. And the reason I'm doing it is because we can't get it through the clerk's office and get it paid if it doesn't have all of the information that is needed to show you did what you say you did. So I'm going to hand it now or open it up if anybody has any questions.
So if you have questions, raise your hand. Eileen's going to be monitoring the questions. I did want to circle back to what Kathy was saying. There are 5 reimbursements are possible, and you can group those together as you need. But if your event happens in March, please go ahead and submit the reimbursements that you have at that time, or April, or whenever. Don't wait till August. If your event happened several months ago, it makes it much, much harder to remember everything and for us to get it through the clerk's office to get you paid quickly. So we can do a better job of getting you faster payments if you submit earlier in the year. Okay, we have some questions, Eileen.
Yeah, let's start with the one that came in the chat, and then I see a couple people with hands raised after that. The first one is about using the county logo and if that needs to continue in perpetuity, which yes, the short answer is yes, we are the county now. So you should just use that logo, until or unless we say to stop doing that, but I'm not anticipating that changing. Okay, then we have a couple other folks. Kathy, do you want to go first? Can you unmute yourself, or do you need to help you do that?
No, I've unmuted
Okay.
myself. So I have a graphic designer. Who just provides me an invoice? Do I need to go back to her and tell her she has to create timesheets?
No, if you have an invoice for something like that, as long as the invoice is detailed enough as to what she's doing for your project, provide that and then provide proof that you pay her. So if, for example, you can give a copy of the check and a copy of your bank statement, or you can get from the bank a copy of the front and the back of the check to show it was paid.
Can I ask a follow-up question from the
Yes.
one that was just answered? So I have made the practice that when a grant period ends, I take the logo off until I get a new grant. Do we need to keep the logo on our site even after the grant period ends?
I don't think that you do. I mean, I think what we're saying, or the question was, is that particular logo going to be the one that you're going to be using for future grants? But if you have, like, for example, if you only have space, and let's say you get multiple grants throughout the year and you want to highlight someone else and your project is over, if you're moving on to something else, I don't think you need to continue to keep the logo on there.
Great, thank you.
Seeing a couple other questions in the chat. How long does it take to be reimbursed? And where do I make the final report? The same website?
So, okay, with respect to how long it takes for payments, it really depends. When it comes into me, I am as diligent as I can to get my portion done and get it submitted to the clerk's office. However, I have no control once it leaves my desk and it goes to the clerk's office. If they have a lot, it could take several weeks. If you have the direct deposit and you have electronic payment, it tends to get to you a little bit quicker, but I would not plan on things coming to you quicker than, and Eileen, you can correct me, 4 to 6 weeks. I mean, I honestly think that's about how long it's been taking.
I would err on the side of 6 weeks or to 8 weeks, like maybe just call it 2 months to be safe, because it has been taking about that long.
And then with respect to the question on the final report, yes, the final report can be found in Neighborly on the report section. It's if you go on the report section, there are 2 reports. The one is the payment and the other one says organizational final report or something like that.
So again, because it does take a little while to get everything through the county channels, Kathy gets it out of our office quickly, but we are not in control of what happens after that. This is why, to keep your cash flow moving, if you've got a handful of reimbursements and they don't add up to a whole lot, go ahead and send them in and apply and get that money sooner. So you're getting an inflow of money throughout the grant period and not getting cash poor and then desperate to get a payment. So that's one reason there are 5 opportunities to do reimbursements in this grant, to try and keep you solvent with, in spite of any delay that the county might have.
Okay, I'm also seeing Chris has a hand raised if you want to ask your question.
Yes, so I apologize. I was having trouble getting in, so I was probably about 6 minutes in. As part of the reimbursement part, do you want a spreadsheet with and because that's how I do my other county grant for operating the Firehouse Cultural Center, where we list it and it has the the date, the expenditure, and who it went to, the backup, check number 1345, and then Schedule A, pottery instructor, Clay Warriors Veterans Project, and that way it makes it go through. And you're right, it takes at least 2 months to get it back from the reimbursement. But did you have that system set up, or you just want the documents for you to submit?
Well,
And
it's easier. It's easier for us because this is project-based versus operational. If you have a spreadsheet, you can send it, but we still are going to need the very specific information, like however you're paying. So if you're paying an instructor, the recommendation is have the instructor fill out a timesheet that says, when they were, where they were, what they did, what their rate of pay is, and when, how they were paid. So if they were paid by, for example, check, give us either the canceled check or give us the bank statement or something that shows that it was actually paid. So like if you just have if you have like a spreadsheet that just shows that you paid it, but it doesn't show that they cashed it, that may not be enough.
Oh no, the spreadsheet that we use, it comes to you as a PDF with the spreadsheet in the front and all the backup documents in the same order as the spreadsheet. So the image of the canceled check, the image of the Schedule A for instructor for Clay Warriors Workshop 1, Clay Warriors Workshop 2, scholarship to veteran to Clay program. Each one of those bills or receipts or bank statements are attached in one PDF.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sometimes they're like 100 pages long. I mean, mine are pretty healthy here, but it just, if anybody does that, a word of advice: don't use any color and save your images in black and white. They scan it at the county clerk's office, and Georgia Veju, our previous executive director, had nice colorful spreadsheets, and I was corrected very quickly. That holds it up even more. So if your bank statements can be saved as a PDF in black and white, do that. It'll help keep it from getting kicked back. So, yeah. But thank you. And I have other questions I'll take offline, though, to Kathy.
Chris, that sounds amazingly efficient. And we don't require quite that high a bar. We need to get the information, but we deal with so many very small, sometimes all volunteer organizations. Not that you're huge, but we try and keep what we're asking for within anyone's power to provide. Basically, my best tip is just save all your paperwork. Don't receipt, whatever you've got. You may not need it all for the reimbursement, but better to have more than you need than to not be missing some key piece that you do need. So, any other questions? Anybody? Well, rest assured, not just Kathy, but the whole Arts Council staff is here wanting to make you successful, getting your money as quickly as we can feasibly make that possible, making the end of the grant period not stressful for you by staying on top of things, and making sure that you're meeting all the requirements of the grant agreement so that we can continue to fund you and that we can show the county the community outreach and all the wonderful things that you are doing. I love Kathy saying, tell the story with your reports, and that really is exactly what needs to happen. And we can be better advocates for you if you will do that for us and give us good information. Anybody else? Okay. Well, I want to commend everybody that joined us. It's I know nobody has enough time to go around, but hopefully this will help make this less stressful for you. And Kathy also has completed an administration document that she'll send out following this that covers some of the things that are covered in the PowerPoint. If anybody wants the PowerPoint, you can request that of Kathy. we will send that to you, but you will be getting a booklet with all the administrative information as well. So thank you for your time. We hope this was helpful. And any questions that remain, just contact us at the Arts Council and we will get you an answer.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much.